So things that are ultra processed generally tend to be high GI foods. Things that are minimally processed, like whole foods, brown pasta, brown rice, whole wheat, yada, 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 that type of stuff, slower to absorb and turn into energy. We'll talk much more about this later, but you have an hour before training and you need something to give yourself some energy. What do you think would be better, a potato or a banana? Banana, super easy to digest. You have 4 hours until training and you're having like a balanced meal. Probably have the potato then, or some rice or something like that that's slower to digest, slower energy release. Carbohydrates tend to ride with fiber. Fiber is super important. There's kind of no upper limit to how much fiber you can get. I'm sure you could if you really tried, but I've never met someone who like overdid it on fiber unless they're doing a bunch of crazy stuff and supplementing it. So fiber basically helps us make stool. Basically when stuff is digesting, there's waste products, and fiber helps us kind of collect some of that waste products and then it gets expelled eventually. You should have roughly around 10 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories that you consume. So easy math, for women maybe 25 grams per day, for men maybe 35, something like that. Again, I've never really met someone who like overdid it on fiber practically, where they're like, I have 80 grams of fiber a day. If you do that, that's impressive, and we're going to talk about how you do that. Most people that have really good amounts of fiber in their diet tend to consume a lot of whole foods, because remember, whole foods are harder to digest. Because they're harder to digest, they have more fiber, and it kind of collects the stuff on the way out. So legumes like beans, full of fiber, nuts, full of fiber, seeds, stuff like that. Any other kind of high fiber stuff you guys can think of? Chia seeds, great. Don't read the slides. Bunch of vegetables, pretty much. Things with skin on it. Yeah, avocado too. Especially if you eat the skin on the avocado. Don't do that. That's fucking gross. I'm slightly fucking with you. So yeah, basically like vegetables that still have the skin on it. So a potato where you leave the skin on it when you fry it will have more fiber because the skin is not digestible as compared to like the potato itself. I'm not saying go eat banana peels, but you know, you get the idea of that. Okay, so give me some sources of carbohydrate. Rice. Oatmeal? What? Nutella, no. Wrong. Wrong. Bread. Potato. Apple. Very good. Shout it out. I'm deaf. Cereal. Very good. Yeah. Pasta. Yeah. Sugar. Okay, sugar is essentially what we take carbohydrate, we turn it into glucose, which our body then uses. Glucose and sugar are almost synonymous. You could kind of like call them both the same thing. So you eat carbohydrates for the sugars that it has. Okay, so yeah, cereals, grains, rice, potatoes. What's a higher fiber content, a sweet potato or a normal potato? Cool. What about the skin on it? That's what really makes a difference. So it's not really like, yeah, exactly, like a sweet potato and a normal potato. It's not much of a difference in between them in terms of fiber. It's to do with like the soluble, like the skins and stuff on it. Cool. Okay, so this is all great. This is all the science stuff. That's kind of, I don't want to think about that much. This stuff is hard. Okay, well, let's tie it back into food. Because we don't eat fucking macronutrients. People don't go home and be like, I'm going to consume my whey protein. Because all it is protein. And then I'm going to have my rice separate. And then I'm going to have like my olive oil and I'll drink it like a shot. People don't eat like that, right? We eat food. We don't eat macros. So if you're looking at all these kind of foods that are up there, they're balanced meals. They have protein, carbohydrates, and fats. If you're thinking about, let's say, an egg, for example, an egg is a great source of fat and a great source of protein together. And that's why eggs are tasty. You guys like cheese? Cheese is great. Cheese is wonderful. Good source of fat, has an amount of protein in it too. So we tend to mix these things, like eggs with cheese on it. Now we're cooking. What about a bacon, egg, and cheese? Oh, that's delicious, right? Because what's the combination of? Protein, carbohydrates, and fats all together. And that's why counting calories can be really difficult for people, because it's like, shit, this is all a combination. And I actually don't know what's Like, what should I count? What should I not count? How much of this did I have? Oh, it's really crazy when it's mixed. So the trick is realizing that certain foods have macronutrient breakdowns that are more or less favorable for your goals. So if we go on to, let's say, chicken, because we talked about chicken, I'm going to give you guys two options for the chicken. You're going to have chicken breast, and you're going to have other pieces of the chicken, the brown meat. What has more protein in it? The breast. So like 100 grams of chicken breast is like 32 grams of protein. But 100 grams of chicken, like drumstick, it's only 23. If the calories are equated, let's say the chicken breast you ate 200 calories, and the chicken thigh you ate 200 calories, but the protein is different, what does the thigh have more of that makes up the said calories? More fats. When would I want someone to have more fat in their diet? When they're trying to be in a surplus, because they're trying to gain mass. So let's say you just had a fight, you lost a good bit of weight to do that, you actually lost some muscle mass, and now you're getting back to training. Maybe a higher fat diet could be super beneficial for you. What if it's the opposite? What if you're trying to sustain your training and lose some weight at the same time? Then I'm going to go the opposite. I'll have like a leaner portion of meat. All of a sudden, you guys just calorie tracked without actually having to think about anything but protein. Isn't that cool? So if you switch to the next slide, that's exactly what I was getting at. Macros are great trade deals. So some trade deals are better than others. And the example that I used are going to be that chicken with the roast potatoes. There's your chicken breast. There's your other parts of that. If we're looking at the potatoes too, let's say those potatoes were covered in olive oil when they were roasted. And then let's say the potatoes on the right were just oven roasted with like a coconut oil spray. What's going to be higher in calories? The olive oil versus like a small bit of spray, which is basically like free. So you can have meals that also play around with this too. Maybe you just like the taste of brown meat more than you like the taste of chicken breast. That's totally fine. You can rob Peter to pay Paul there. So you can always play around with your foods, and if you have something super healthy, you can have something a little bit less calorie dense to make up for it. So let's talk about some other meals that you guys can make. Someone make me a meal right now. Shout it out. What are the parts of it?
Salad, spinach.
Okay.
Potato.
Salmon, sweet potato, spinach. Let's make that a salad. A little bit more than spinach in it. Great meal. Salmon, sweet potato, and a salad. Where's your protein source? Very good. Where's your fat source? Very good. So we already kind of almost have a balanced meal just by that. What about the potato? What's that? Carbs and fiber. Check, check. What about the salad? Well, let's talk about what goes into the salad. Spinach. Are leafy greens very calorie dense? No. What do they do though? They help kind of like bulk up the meal a little bit, so that tends to also come out a little bit as fiber. What else would you guys like to put in a salad? Avocado. What's that going to add? Fat. Quinoa. Let's say I don't have an avocado that's ripe and I need something else. Quinoa. What's that going to add to the meal instead? Carbohydrates. A little bit of fiber too. Very good. Let's say you're about to go to training in 3 hours. You have your salmon, you have some sweet potato, and what then would you want to add to it? Fats or carbohydrates? You have 3 hours to training. Yeah, or fat. Kind of doesn't matter because you're far out. Let's say you're an hour away from training. Yeah, and easier to digest carbs. I might actually take that sweet potato out. I might just have the quinoa instead. It's lighter. Cool. Those are trade deals. Let's talk about other trade deals. Skip one. I just typed in health bar. This is the first thing that came up. So just kind of read this out for you. It's like roughly 200 calories, 210 calories, 10 grams of protein. The rest of it's kind of made up of fat and carbohydrates. Is this a good health bar? No?